This is a trial run. I think I am recording this. Let's see if this works. I think this is working. This is a trial run of what we believe will be called the 4-on-5. 4-on-5, a Kings podcast. It may also be called Hope Springs Eternal, a 4-on-5 podcast. That'll be a part of the podcast discussion. It'll be about 40 minutes, 45 minutes to maybe 60 minutes on this first trial run. And away we go. I'm doing this while I'm driving. Not the safest thing to do, but with a busy life, I'm going to try and just get this thing started. Let me just first give an introduction. I'm going to try to actually share my screen. Share screen, yeah. I'm going to share my screen. Share screen. Yeah, screen broadcast, start broadcast. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to switch to notes. There it is. So here are the talking points. Introduction, we're going to talk about the raison d'etre, the reason we exist. Lack of competent content about the Sacramento Kings. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to do this podcast, and I'm going to lean toward just speaking about things as they really are. And I'm not going to intentionally be mean, but some things are going to be maybe offensive to other people, other writers, because the content out there about the Sacramento Kings is just really honestly bad. And that's my opinion. And that's in terms, if we're looking at this as a business opportunity or, something where there's need, supply and demand in the market, there's just really a lack of competent content about Sacramento Kings. And I'm doing this, being from Sacramento, live in the Washington, D.C. area, but grew up in Sacramento. My family was season ticket holders since they moved there in 1985. And I'm going to be doing this with myself and 3 of my brothers. Thus, it's called 4-on-5. A little bit of a jab at, which is really the basis of this podcast. It's a jab at Vivek Ranadive. When he became the owner of the Sacramento Kings, he came up with all these really stupid ideas. One of them being that we were going to play 4-on-5 basketball like his daughter did in their league, and that somehow was going to be NBA 2.0. I mean, just really such a train wreck from the beginning. Everybody's grateful that he helped keep the team here, but he needs to go. I'm kind of cutting to the chase at the end of this show about what we're going to be talking about. But lack of competent content to talk about what actually needs to happen now in terms of changes in the organization, with actual good insight. And so look, no offense to anybody else, there's some decent content out there, but there's a severe lack of competent content. And people can have their own opinion. Maybe they'll feel like this is competent or it's not, but that's why we're here. Want to give a voice to the Sacramento Kings about what are the problems that have been happening cyclically, and hopefully we can get out of those problems and build a contending team. It's tragic that after 16 years of not making the playoffs, we finally built to something that was a young, exciting team, only to tear it apart, trade the coach who was the coach of the year before, Mike Brown, colossally fail, and also losing our best player and making a terrible trade. And now we're back to the dysfunction that we were before. Just a total dysfunction. We, not to get distracted in this, but after Mike Brown won coach of the year, and he's just a solid coach who's been around and he gave us stability, I thought we should sign him to a 10-year contract, and jokingly with no option to fire him, just so that we would stay with somebody professional and build a culture and consistent, identity here. And we failed on that colossally. And how were we back to such incompetency again after building to something good under Monte McNair? Who's nobody's perfect, but he did build us to where we were with some good pieces. So that's why we're here. The format is going to be the Michael Wilbon, Tony Kornheiser format, where, as you see here, there's going to be topics. I'm going to have a goal of hitting each topic for about 3 minutes instead of 60 to 90 seconds. We'll see how that works. I'm going to usually be doing this with my brothers on here. Right now, I'm doing this on my own because mainly we were just trying to get this started. We've been talking about doing this as with me and my brothers and also my son. All of us played basketball competitively in the Sacramento area, have followed the Kings avidly. We live in different markets in New York, DC, and Portland now. And so hopefully we'll bring, again, no disrespect, but more of an objective kind of market, let's call it, perspective about, what is viewed as, objectively a very dysfunctional organization, and talking about what they need to do to make improvements. So here are the topics. I'm not gonna, well, actually, you know what? Since I'm sharing the screen, why don't I just kind of do this for now? I'm gonna leave up, I've got the draft, direction of the team, etc. I'm gonna try and go through these quickly. Let's start with the draft. The draft is coming up. The 1 year now, especially new with the new draft rules, we know, you couldn't really have control over where you were going to pick anymore. That's gone. The 1 year we were doing, we were colossally bad, but at least we were tanking right. Only at the end of the year to even fumble that. I just can't even get into it. It's just so frustrating. We were the worst. They had the worst record in the NBA, and ended up fumbling that and slipped all the way to the 7th pick, whereas we could have had nothing worse than the 5th pick and a much better chance, or not much better, but to have the 5th pick. So we are where we are. Draft. The players who are going to be picked at number 7 are either it's probably going to be Kingston Flemings, could be Darius Acuff, or the guy from Illinois, the guard from Illinois, but I can't remember his name right now. Here's the problem. One of our biggest problems historically on the Kings is we lack positional size, really up and down the board. Malik Monk, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, all these people we draft, Davion Mitchell, they lack positional size, and it's a problem. I went to the Sacramento Kings Pelicans playoff game a few years ago, and it was just so evident. They were so long at every position, and we had problems. So people talk about picking for talent and not picking positionally, and yeah, there's truths in all of that, but we need to prioritize positional size. And I'm bringing that up because Kingston Flemings, while he's probably the best player left when we're on the board this year, he lacks positional size. You see it when you see him play. He's 6'2" with a 6'3" wingspan, but he's got a slight build. I think he's a nifty little player, but we're going to have the same problem positionally. We're probably just going to have to take that pick. Maybe we get lucky and get Darius Acuff. No player's perfect. Acuff has been criticized of not, of having defensive lapses, but at least he has size. He's also 6'2", but with a 6'7" wingspan and much bigger build. And he's just a superior player. I think he has a very good chance of being a long-term good player, all-star. But we've got problems this year because all the players that really we should pick at that talent level are point guards. Mikael Brown Jr. is actually a point guard with good size, but a lot of question marks. I don't know. I've got concerns about just how serious he is. I do like Fleming's with the fact that he's a good defender, notwithstanding the fact that he doesn't have good positional size. The last game they played of the season, Illinois, their size gave him problems. That was like red flags. Anyway, I don't, I really, don't. I hope we luck out and just get the right player. But I'm not going to waste a lot of time on this right now. It's something that's largely out of our control. We just have to take the best player available, or maybe we try to trade it. I'm going to get into a little bit of that when I talk about the horrible Kings content that's out there talking about this subject right now. But yeah, let's go on to the next subject. Direction of the team, how the draft rules change future decisions. I think this is important as it relates to the draft. Look, we can't tank anymore. I think it's a great change to the rules. We've got to play for the future, right? Build smart, not win now and mortgage the future, but we need to build smartly while building the young talent, which we really haven't had the patience to do because of, I mainly blame the ownership. It's just awful. We are the opposite of the Spurs in terms of being able to develop a team and good culture and develop players. We just don't develop players well and don't have patience to. We always pick these rookies who are very old, and then we don't even play them the minutes that they need to develop. It's just awful. So, I'm kind of cutting to the chase. I don't have a trust in the organization to even develop people right. They say they're going to rebuild under Scott Perry, but they've shown that what they mean by rebuild is not tear down, rebuild, and start with a bunch of 18, 19, and 20-year-olds. They mean going and getting people who are in their mid-20s and trying to not be bad. Now, with the new draft rules, it's smarter to do something like that. You need to go out and get younger talent. But obviously, you can't try to be bad. You can't just be miserable. But you have to have a combination of playing younger talent that fits with the team's direction. But I personally, kind of cutting to the chase, I think we should hold on to Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray as some anchors, but put the right people, young people, around them to develop into something hopefully. With players who are similar age. We'll get into that. I'm kind of cutting the chase on, or really summarizing on this, but I think that mirrors what the team has the patience to do. And with the new draft rules, I think you do that. You get as much talent as you can in the draft and younger players, but that you're going to actually play. And you play them with the veterans, and hopefully you have a nice combination of youth and experience to be a decent team and build a team where people will want to come, because we've got to build through free agency more now and the draft. But you can't just try to be bad and trust the process and make sure you get the number one pick, or top pick these days. That's changed. So those are good things, but that changes what we do. Let's talk about the truth about people like DeRozan and Levine, and those are hard decisions we have to make. I'm going to cut to the chase on this. We don't have the guts to sit DeRozan or Levine. We need to trade DeRozan. He's got a contract that's paying him somewhere around $25 million a year, but he's only guaranteed 10. We got to cut him and pay the 10, or we got to trade him for somebody else who's going to take him at $25 million, right? But we can't take on a bad contract for longer years. Same thing with Levine. My guess is, well, who knows? Can we trade Levine and some other pieces for John Morant. We'll get into that later. Because he's essentially an expiring contract. So of course he's going to opt in. These stupid articles written about whether he's going to opt in or not or what he's going to do. Come on. Of course he's going to opt in for his $49 million contract. Question is what can we do? The bottom line is no team is going to win with Zach LaVine unless you put him on a team with somebody like Giannis, right? Zach LaVine is a joke. He doesn't compete. He doesn't buy in for team stuff. I'd love to be proven wrong, but he's been in the NBA long enough. We know what he is. He has no heart, and he doesn't play defense. And these stupid articles written about, oh, you need to play him right, and not think he's a defensive player. Sure, Doug Christie's not the greatest coach and so on, but give me a break. Zach LaVine is a total joke. And we all saw that when he didn't play, people had hope more, at least in playing the youth that we have, even though there's not a lot to hope in, but at least we were playing as a team and you had people buying in and there's hope surrounding that. So you have a team chemistry there, which is not what you have with LaVine. DeMar DeRozan is a professional, great guy, but he slows the ball down when he gets the ball. He doesn't fit our timeline. Domantas Sabonis, who has made this offense work as the hub, as a passer, is completely can't be utilized in the same way with DeRozan because the ball has to be in his hands. And as we've seen, when he's on our team, we play him 35 minutes a game, which is so hard to understand when we're not on his timeline. What are we doing? So that's what I want to talk about with the truth of these two guys. Will this organization make what for them seems to be a hard decision and just cut them loose, or sit them because clearly they need to with where we are? Or are they going to be so dumb and still think that because these guys used to be all-stars or this or that we somehow have a team that can be competitive? No. I mean, the only people in the world that believes that is this organization. Meaning, and I'm going to say specifically, probably Vivek Ranadive and some other delusional people. I'm sorry. That's the truth. Other people see it. We seem not to see it. We held on to people like and played LaVine and DeRozan and Westbrook 30-plus minutes a game. Oh, my gosh. What a total joke. I mean, so we need to make tough decisions with them, which really shouldn't be tough. You've got to put them on the bench or cut them or make the best trade that you can with them because you're not going to get anything for them. You need to move on. I mean, these things should be very basic, but we seem to not get it. Devin Carter, what a total train wreck. We drafted him top 10 and couldn't decide whether we liked him or not. Haven't played him. I'm not going to even, whatever. We've made our decision with Devin Carter. We don't like him. And we just need to move on from him. It's a very simple thing with Devin Carter. I think he's a decent player. He could be a fine backup point guard, good defender. He's long, he's athletic, but whatever. We made the decision with him when we put him behind Keon Ellis, Malik Monk, the garbage guy we signed in the offseason and then traded to Cleveland from Germany. Goodness sakes. Are you kidding me? And Westbrook, and we played the rookie that we signed behind them, thus totally killing his chances to develop. At the end of the year, he played, and he showed he's got something, but we don't believe in him. So we need to move on. I mean, what a total joke. Raynaud. Wow, it's depressing to look at Raynaud. Look, I've been a Sacramento Kings fan since 1985. I've seen a lot of people come and go. And when we're bad and with a young player plays well, just because he's getting minutes, we always seem to provincially get overexcited about this player. I have nothing against Raynaud. He was a pleasant surprise. I think he's talented. It's fine. But when I see articles that say we need to play him and get rid of Sabonis just to be able to play him somehow like he's going to be this piece. Give me a break. I'd love to be pleasantly surprised, but how about this? No. Raynaud will be a backup center in this league, and maybe he'll get significant minutes somewhere. And maybe even here. But he's not a starting center. If he is a role player along with some other really strong players. Please, can we just admit this? Please, can we not just, for lack of anything else to get excited about, we're getting excited about this guy putting up numbers. Hey, he was like, voted top 6 rookies out there because of the minutes he got? Maybe someone else will bite on him, and let's trade him. For example, to the Clippers so we can trade up to number 5. Or somebody like that. Maybe we can do something nifty like that. Or whatever, or maybe we value him as a rotational piece. But the way I hear being talked about him to build around him somehow, like as one of the core pieces, it's so depressing. I can't even talk about it. Clifford, not much to say here. Look, he's got good positional size as a 2, fine size as a 3. He's an older rookie. Whatever. I hope he develops. Looking at it now, it's probably good that we give him a solid shot to start at something hopefully at the 2, so we have better positional size. You will have to see who we get in the offseason and how things work. Not much to say there. Free agency. I just need to make a mention of articles that I've read that are so laughably depressing. I can't even believe it. Plowden. People are saying, Plowden needs to be a priority in free agency. Are you kidding me? This guy got a lot of minutes because we said that everybody else had an injury so that we didn't have to play them when we were halfway competently trying to tank and playing our youth for the first time. But since he got minutes and scored some points, we think that he should be a priority. I have nothing else to say. Give me a break. That is the way a team remains not even mediocre, but pathetically awful. Like, no, he's not a priority. He's like 26-year-old or whatever he is, and he's mediocre. Period. Done. But in the same spirit, I'm reading these articles that are saying we need to sign people like Colin Sexton. Are you kidding me? You can't define mediocre more than players like Colin Sexton, and the other guy was Anthony Simons. Like, Sexton is an undersized point guard. He will never be on a good team unless he's playing next to somebody called Luka Doncic. And still, they wouldn't want him because he's only a backup. No, Anthony Simons. He was overpaid, and he's a shooter, undersized, not even a point guard, truly. So he's an undersized 2 guard who plays no defense. But why do we say in these articles that we want to sign people like that? You know why? It comes from an insecurity that we have as Sacramento Kings, that we think nobody else is going to want to come here. So we're only so delighted when people like Russell Westbrook come and play for us when they're 59 years old, because he's going to go to the Hall of Fame, and so we should be only so grateful. That's why we signed people like Ralph Sampson, after he's had 5 knee surgeries and can barely walk up the court. Danny Ainge, after his career is over with the Celtics, but he'll come here because he's a big name, and we're just only so excited to have him. Why can't we get rid of this insecurity? Why do we do this? Literally, it's a plague that I thought we were finally getting rid of under Monty McNair, not signing people to really bloated contracts, paying them way more than the market would pay them, and having some respect for ourselves. So please, can we not do that anymore? By the way, I don't have hope that we won't. Scott Perry has shown me with his signings in this last offseason and trying to talk about signing Mitchell Robinson, I don't have hope for him. He says he's his own guy and he's not going to do what Vivek Ranadive says. I don't believe it. Mainly because Vivek Ranadive signed him and he's got some agreement, and I just think I kind of don't know, but it seems to be past his time. He's signing people like Russell Westbrook. Give me a break. Who is this guy, man? Oh my gosh. And who's making the decisions to play DeRozan and Westbrook when we're clearly bad? We kept trying to play these old veterans, and we were the worst team. And we couldn't accept the truth of the situation until way later. I have no words. I don't have any trust in him. I've tried to be optimistic with the Kings for so long, but it kind of leads to what may be the title of this podcast in the future, which is Hope Springs Eternal. Man never is, but always will be blessed. So Hope Springs Eternal. The Kings never truly are, but always will in the future be blessed, meaning it's actually really pessimistic. I think that is our theme. As long as Vivek Ranadive is an owner, as the majority owner of this team, he's got to go. As long as he's there, I have no hope, truly. Anybody objective in the market, Zach Lowe, anybody, listen to them, they'll tell you the same thing. We got to get out of our little drink the Kool-Aid bubble in Sacramento where we're just trying to be positive and only just happy that the Sacramento Kings are here. They're not going anywhere. They're here. Let's not just be grateful we're here and just grateful that somebody who was good 10 years ago is now playing for us. We need to be confident or we are going to lose them this time. My goodness. That's the free agency piece. Robinson's another one on the free agency piece. Mitchell Robinson, as I mentioned. John Morant. Long story short, there's risks here, but I compared John Morant to Chris Webber signing many years ago. His stock was low. We took a chance on him. He had a chip on his shoulder about it, would not have come here to play for us before, like a lot of other people think they haven't wanted to. We thought we overcame that a little bit, where there was a good vibe with the Kings, like the beam, but we're back to that. People know now, without a doubt, that we're incompetent. Maybe we can trade and get John Morant, and maybe he can revive his career. I know he comes with a lot of risks, but I think we need to be real with who we are, and we take that risk. He's about 27. Keegan's about 26. Sabonis is about 29 or 30. He fits with that timeline. We mesh him with some younger people like Clifford, whoever you can get in the draft. Maybe you still take in a Cup or a Flemings to back Jaw up if that's a failure, or you have a good 3-guard rotation, or maybe you trade down somehow. I would love to believe we could trade down with the Thunder and get Yaxel from Michigan and Quainton Kentucky at 12 and 17 and develop, give Yaxel a run at the 4, 6'9", 7'3.5" wingspan could be great alongside Keegan Murray at the 3. Then Keegan Murray at the 3 would have better positional size. Yaxel has good positional size, can shoot the 3 at the 4 position, and can help. He's a good defender. He's solid at least, can help the deficiencies there with Sabonis. And then maybe, who knows, maybe we're a 10 seed then. Maybe we're exciting and we've got some young people in the mix. That's my take on John Morant. We need to try to make a move like that and mix some the talent we have that gives us a point guard that we need, and we don't sign and start Russell Westbrook again. If we don't get him, then hopefully we get lucky with one of these other guys. Maybe Flemings turns out to be decent. I really like his attitude and his commitment to defense. I'd rather take the risk on a Cuff. I don't think a Cuff is going to be there. I think people know that he has the potential to be a star in the league. The big finish. The summary, as I've mentioned, one of the titles of this podcast could be, as I've discussed it with my 4 brothers and my father and my son, is Hope Springs Eternal, a Kings podcast. I told you about the Alexander Pope quote. This team, as long as Vivek and his daughter Anjali, no disrespect to her as a person, but what a joke that she is somehow like a type of general manager and she's involved in making decisions. Look, Nobody wants to talk about it. It's the 800-pound gorilla in the room. But the reason De'Aaron Fox left, and it's a total joke of an organization, is why is she, just because she's the daughter of the majority owner, making basketball decisions? 100% joke. This needs to be talked about more and called out. We are a joke of an organization. That is nepotism, and that's just disrespectful to the fan base. You know, that's only so grateful to have a team here, and will always praise the name of Vivek Ranadive because he was a part of the team that David Stern and Kevin Johnson, you know, helped keep here. But then we can't question anything. And also because maybe she's a girl and whatever. Give me a break. It's nepotism. It's incompetence. It's why people know we're dysfunctional and they don't want to come here. That's got to change because Vivek is not going to change. We all know it. I don't want to hear any garbage about how he's not going to be involved in basketball operations. Are you kidding me? When somebody like that has meddled for so long and they're saying, you know, he was on there saying he wanted Nick Stauskas no matter what he says. Everybody's seen the video. He's going to always have a say somehow, or at least in the GM. Man, I don't need to say anything. Anybody who knows. As long as he's here, we're going to be dysfunctional. That's really what needs to happen. Or I don't know, can we get lucky with a few signings? I don't know. I'd love to be proven wrong by Scott Perry. But until I see something else, I would love to be proven wrong. But that's my take on the current situation. There is very little hope. And the best thing we can do is talk about it and talk about actual solutions based on the reality that we are in. We are a terrible team with very little good young talent. It's mediocre at best. Keegan Murray is a nice piece. He's shown us what he is. He's never going to be an alpha guy who could be one of your go-to guys. Like, again, if he somehow surprises us, that would be a major breaking character. But he's a good piece. He's a good defensive piece who's a wallflower and wants other people to be the main people. So maybe that's where, and DeMonte Stone's the same thing. Great player, great passer. He's never going to be your guy. You need to have a strong guy next to him. Like, that's why Domantas Sabonis and he worked. Sabonis could be a facilitator, great rebounder, great team guy. You know, so maybe we could make something work out with other people that we bring on. But I'm going to cut it from there. This was our first trial run. I hope people find this engaging and that it hits points that resonate. Welcome the feedback. Hopefully this is the first of many of these podcasts where we can discuss how to fix our ailing, beloved Sacramento Kings. For those of us who have been in this one-horse town, let's call it. It's only got one sports team. So we're all in. Those of us who are Kings fans, you know, die hard, even though I moved away from the Sacramento Kings, from the Sacramento area 25 plus years ago. You know, my brothers and father and I pay attention to every move, every game, and we're diehards, and we want the team to be good. And, you know, we delusionally feel like our voice may make a difference. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Let's have the discussion. At least it'll provide us some better content because we were tired of reading the garbage out there. That's it for me today. We'll see you next time.